Yo, Sanjo Che here, people. What's going on? So I'm bringing you my review on Dragon Ball Super Episode 112, A Saiyan's Vow, Vegeta's Resolution. Before getting into it, of course, be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell to get notifications for whenever I upload. Well, sorry. But yeah, let's get right into it. So, coming off this episode, I definitely liked it. One of the better episodes of the Tournament of Power for me, personally speaking. And considering the spoilers that we got for this episode leading up to it and the title itself, we already knew it was going to be a Cabba centric episode, and by extension involved Vegeta. Now, Vegeta is one of the more developed characters, arguably speaking, the most developed character in this franchise. And actually putting him in an episode like this where universes are on the line and just seeing him interact with his fellow Saiyans from Universe 6 always leads to some interesting character dynamics, just overall characterization where Vegeta is concerned, and it definitely helps sell this episode at least. But let's kind of take this bit by bit. So at the start, we see Universe 4 mobilizing fighters to actually go after Goku, which to me, from a logical standpoint, that does make sense since Goku at this point is pretty much exhausted and would find it difficult to actually defend himself. But Goku seems to be hanging in there by the end of this episode based on what we see. And it's after this that we get to see the Universe 6 Namekians go ahead and take on Piccolo and Gohan. Now, considering that we just recently started to see them actually mobilize and actually get screen time, it kind of feels like it helped make the tournament and the episode itself feel totally refreshing, because it's as I said, they haven't had much screen time, and it does, considering we don't know much about them, but it just adds this, I guess, this air of mystique and mystery around them, honestly speaking. And the fact that Piccolo himself stated that he didn't expect the Universe 6 Namekians to be this strong does it does speak volumes about how strong they are. I wouldn't say like Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, or Vegeta strong, but they're comparable. What am I saying there? They're at least relative to Gohan and Piccolo, obviously. So there's that. And honestly, the little scuffle we got in this episode between Gohan and Piccolo versus those Namekians was pretty cool to see, to say the least. The choreography is pretty decent there. Obviously, their teamwork itself, it's a good match to put them up against Piccolo and Gohan. So there's that. So it's after this that we get to see Universe 4's Mona go after Kale and Caulifla. And it's at this point that Cabba makes his entrance into the fray to actually stall for time for Kale and Caulifla so they can recover, because he believes wholeheartedly that they'll be the secret weapon to Universe 6 surviving, know that Hit has been eliminated. So that was interesting, coming from Cabba. Well, probably not too interesting considering that we already know, it's already implied that Cabba believes they were stronger than him anyway. And it is the case, obviously speaking. Now, going forward with Cabba and Mona, like initially, while I thought it was false tension when he was holding her off so they could actually get away, that's quickly how should I put it? That's quickly shot out the door, because I was gonna use that as a means to actually pull this episode down, but Cabba quickly goes Super Saiyan after they leave, and we see that he's still no match, and he's eventually launched outside the ring, only to be saved by Vegeta. And it's at this point that I'd say it's one of the best moments in this episode, not from an action standpoint, but from a storytelling standpoint, because it's at this point that Vegeta, the characterization I was mentioning that helps to sell this episode, it shines through right here, because at this point, you know, you'd expect Vegeta to come in and motivate Cabba in his own way, of course, not some sappy emotional thing, but of course they have to stick to keeping Vegeta in character, which was pretty good here. So we have Vegeta going in and motivating Cabba, which was cool to see, but what really helps to sell this moment is that they tie things back into the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament arc, where Cabba said he'd actually want Vegeta. Vegeta said he'd want to go to Planet Sadal in Universe 6, and Cabba agreed to bring him there, promised to bring him there. So there's that. But you know, as I was watching it, I already knew, we as viewers knew that only one universe could survive, and it was cool seeing Cabba bring it up. It was just cool. But it's at this point we found that Vegeta plans to actually use the Super Dragon Balls to revive. Well, I don't know if it'll be entire Universe 6 or just Planet Sadal itself. But in either case, it is an interesting development. It is progress to actually find out that Vegeta actually would go to such ends. Well, go so far to do that for Cabba. And Cabba retorts by saying, "Hey, I'd do the same." And Vegeta's like, "Hey, no man, I'm gonna win this shit." So that was a cool, interesting moment. Time back past arcs with current arcs, kind of giving more, how should I say, more, I guess, weight to the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 arc, as well as establishing a future arc in Super, which they can dive into. And I'm sure it's something that a lot of people at this point would have predicted would be a future arc in Super. So to that end, definitely helped to bring out the episode for me. And so after that, Cabba goes back against Mona. He seems too exhausted to actually turn Super Saiyan, and it's Mona's there taunting him and talking shit about Vegeta, and Cabba apparently takes it to heart. And it would seem that Cabba does achieve Super Saiyan 2 in this episode and all of that, even though his hair does seem a bit spikier, but it more or less looks the same as his Super Saiyan 1, but whatever. But it's cool, it's progress for the character itself, and I honestly would take that. I am more accepting of it than seeing it for Khalifa just achieving it instantly within the same episode that she becomes Super Saiyan, then forget it, and then have Goku mentioning how to achieve it back again to her. So I'm more accepting of it. Considering that Cabba has had Super Saiyan for at least a year, like in retrospect, it just makes more sense. Granted, I don't know if Cabba himself has been training, so I'm not fully accepting it, but there is some context to say, yo, Cabba, you could see Cabba achieving it. But anyway, so he achieves Super Saiyan 2, beats Mona with some spectacular moves. I'm not gonna lie, the choreography for that scene there was pretty damn cool. And to that end, the art in this episode, it was consistently good. We got a lot of good shots in this episode, I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty cool seeing it. And it's at this point, after this point, that we actually see a matchup that I expected, a lot of people expected, Vegeta versus Toppo. And the dialogue here is definitely interesting, because we learned that Vegeta's actually interested in taking on Jiren, despite seeing him take out Goku with Kaioken times 20 and Ultra Instinct. So that was definitely interesting. Of course, Vegeta says to Toppo, "Hey man, I want number 1, I don't want to fight you." And Toppo replies by saying, "Hey yo, you're number 2 as well." So that I just found it interesting. Anytime the writers are self-aware of the shits in the show, it's always interesting. So we see Vegeta going in with Super Saiyan Blue clashing with Toppo. So that's a fight I definitely want to see more of. And after this point, we get to see Cabba versus Frieza, and like towards the end, Frieza goes golden, and I'm not calling the Universe 6 Saiyans weaklings, but I honestly didn't. Even though it's implied that Frieza didn't really have to go golden by his line after he rings out Cabba, but I just don't like seeing them give Frieza the Super Saiyan Blue treatment, like overusing it. But I guess it is what it is. But I guess it does, help to justify Cabba's newfound strength in a way. But there's that. So by the end of it, we see Goku and Vegeta kind of back to back, and basically Goku saying, "Hey, Cabba's out," and Vegeta's like, "It doesn't matter, I'll wish them back anyway," basically. And eventually we see Khalifa come and rescue Goku from the Universe 4 fighters, powering up to Super Saiyan 2, challenging Goku again, and that's where the episode ends. Um, as I stated, it was definitely a solid episode. I definitely liked it. Um, nice character interactions. Characterization overall in this episode was pretty good. The art's consistently good in this episode, and the animation pretty decent. Choreography for a lot of the fight scenes, well, most of the fight scenes in this episode, definitely good. Um, of course, based on the preview for next week, I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably I probably won't do that, but whatever. But the point is, based on the preview for next week, it does seem like Goku will be pulling out Super Saiyan 3, which I'm kind of feeling sketchy about, like, considering he wants to recover and save stamina or whatever. But I guess it's just the Saiyan blood within him wanting to actually... He gets excited fighting Khalifa, so I guess it's understandable. But all in all, definitely a good episode. Definitely loved it. You should definitely check it out if you haven't checked it out as yet. I wasn't expecting Cabba to actually get ringed out in this episode, but it is what it is. And one last thing to note that is, as I've been telling a few people, that they don't necessarily have to beat Jiren to actually win this tournament. It's just all about numbers at the end of the day. And this is basically repeated in the episode by not just the Grand Priest but Champa as well. So as I mentioned, it's like the show being self-aware. Well, not even self-aware, it's just the rules of the tournament at this point. So there's that. But anyway, Sanjay Uchiha, rate, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you thought about the episode in the comment section below. See you in the next one.